Light No Fire is definitely one of the most exciting games coming out, yet despite a rather extensive reveal, there's so much more we don't know about it. With a much bigger emphasis on RPG elements compared to No Man's Sky, we're looking at a project that's just as big, possibly even more ambitious than the one we're playing right now. And with the Summer Game Fest just around the corner, we still have lots of rumors to discuss, possible release dates, and concept arts that may paint a more clear picture of what to expect from this game. Now, Light No Fire, despite having a very good first trailer, is still somewhat shrouded in mystery. What we know is that it's been in development for about 5 years now, and by the time it comes out, that's going to be about twice the development time needed for No Man's Sky prior to 2016. During the Game Awards interview from last year, Sean even mentioned that there were about a dozen or so developers working on Light No Fire at the time, so it does appear that there's a similarity in terms of team sizes between the two games. Plus, the team who's been working on Light No Fire all this time has been a different one from the one handling the typical No Man's Sky update cycle. It's also good to note that Hello Games previously announced they aren't interested in repeating the same lengthy marketing campaign that they undertook for their other game in 2016, which Games Radar notes it existed in the public sphere for about 3 years prior to being released. So instead, it does appear that Hello Games is looking into a much shorter timeline from reveal all the way to launch. Given this shorter timeline of events, it's very much still possible that we'll get to see Light No Fire dropping as early as Q4 2024. In fact, quite a number of sites out there are actually speculating that that's the earliest we can expect Light No Fire to be announced for. Anything earlier than that, I think, is way too soon and way too crowded, especially with some of the releases we're gonna get this year. But Q4 2024, in my opinion, could be an excellent way to capitalize on the holiday season, so this could work very well in Hello Games' favor. But I guess we're gonna find our answers soon, no matter what, actually within the next few days. So this year's Summer Game Fest, which is going to start on June 7th, this is going to be pretty much next Friday, will hold our answers. And by the looks of it, it does seem that Hello Games is going to be part of it. We talked about this very interesting exchange of tweets between the host of Summer Game Fest and Sean Murray, which does seem to indicate towards a new trailer. I'm also very positive it's not going to be anything No Man's Sky related, not now that we just got an update with a drift the past few days, so it's clearly something else. In fact, Hello Games rushing out to put out a drift does seem quite odd because it's only an expedition. They haven't actually done that in a while. They typically also release updates alongside, so this makes me even more confident that they actually rushed out so that they could have this present at the Summer Game Fest with a possible awaited second trailer for Light No Fire. And if that's going to be the case, this is also when we are going to get a release date as well. And Summer Game Fest last year, we did have quite a number of very interesting reveals, plus a bunch of new trailers for some of the biggest games of both this year and the last one. So definitely some big surprises in there still left. So clearly Hello Games has been cooking with this one for quite some time now, and with all the know-how and experience they accumulated working on No Man's Sky, I'm fully expecting Light No Fire to be a much more feature complete and overall better release than No Man's Sky was back at launch. I think them spending more time on development while simultaneously wanting to spend less time marketing is a solid indicator of that. In fact, taking a closer look at the reveal trailer, we can still see many similarities between the two games, from animations, 3D models, and even some of the textures. I'm quite positive that what we're seeing right here is the same engine, or at the very least an improved version of that, given how this is also a proc-gen game. However, that's as far as similarities go. Past the technical aspects, conceptually, Light No Fire could not be more different. And as strange as that sounds in this context, with No Man's Sky being an entire universe, Light No Fire is still quite more ambitious by several metrics. So let's explore them a little bit. On one side, instead of a whole universe, we're now looking at a single planet. However, that planet is roughly the size of our own Earth. To put things into perspective, your average planet in No Man's Sky is roughly 50 times smaller than planet Earth. So at least theoretically, assuming that Hello Games is true to their words, that's about the size we might get to see in Light No Fire, 50 times the size of your typical planet. It's a huge undertaking, that's true, given how Hello Games also aims to make it completely seamless without any boundaries, and I'm also going to assume no loading screens as a result. More impressive is that instead of multiple planets holding one biome each, we'll now have all of those condensed into a single planetary map. And from the looks of it, this Earth we get to play in appears way more alien than our own. Besides the trailer shots, we've got a bunch of concept arts before from Hello Games, and I'm not gonna lie, this got me really excited. But this Earth we get to play in isn't looking completely friendly nor cozy either. So in a shot of a wasteland concept art called the Aura, we can see a traveler passing through what appears to be the dusty remains of what was once probably a small town or a village. A single structure remains standing, yet barely, with several giant humanoid-shaped trees in the background and an ominous object looming in the distance. The caption reads, "Nothing here is left untouched by the aura. With every step forward, my skin crawls, sending chills down my spine." That would actually sound like a very interesting mechanic to have in-game, like a whole region affected by some deadly blight that we have to be very careful about navigating. A similar deadly encounter is this concept of a swamp creature. The caption reads, "A price to pay for safe passage," as we can see our character possibly accompanied by a creature companion looking to pass by, but they have to give something very valuable in exchange. So maybe not a sum of money that needs to be paid, but something more important. In another shot, we also have these so-called memorial torches. Now this could be a survival mechanic, but the caption reads, "Pillars of smoke fill the horizon as memorial torches burn, a link to the afterlife for those who seek it." Could this possibly explain some kind of bonfire mechanic or a teleport point, or maybe even a way to resurrect our characters, or maybe a way to interact with an alternate version of the places we're in? This afterlife, as the caption reads it, does seem very interesting. So quite a few of these shots, but not all of them, are through perilous landscapes. We do see a lot of familiar concepts, with the traveler carrying their backpack and gear, passing through lush and vibrant yet uncharted terrain. A few of them actually hitting very close to what we ended up seeing in the Light No Fire trailer. So who knows, maybe we're gonna see some of these other concepts also making their way into the full game. And with so many biomes, a massive size, I can see our journey starting, but spitting us in random remote places on this planet Earth, which is technically big enough so that it's very rare for you to start in the same spot as somebody else did, but it can still happen just like how it does in No Man's Sky. Another thing to consider is Hello Games are diving much deeper into the whole RPG aspects, even compared to No Man's Sky. Some of the outposts we saw in the trailer featured various characters that seem way more interactive than the ones in No Man's Sky, so possibly this could explain places where we can take and give in quests. We also know it features a pretty extensive character creation too, so there's a large selection of species to pick from in the character creation process, from humans to all sorts of creatures like bears, wolves, foxes, rabbits, and so on. Also, the various combat shots hint to the possibility of a class system as well. It's not yet clear if this is getting handled in the more classic RPG style by selecting a class via the class selector at the character creation or later on, like for example games such as Dragon's Dogma do that too, or if it's more influenced by the weapons that we equip, like for example in the case of Elden Ring, which would also mean this brings a lot more freedom and choice. There's also the question of skill trees and a skill tree system, if that exists, though I'm not sure if the game is going to go that deep into the RPG territory. But even so, the assortment of different items that clearly fit different functions and will likely involve vastly different mechanics seem much more complex than what's currently present in No Man's Sky. Past that, survival elements also appear more involved, although this could just be a thing that they've done specifically for the trailer. So one thing I noticed in the trailer, for example, is that players actually get to carry their own wood planks after chopping down trees. Now I do hope it doesn't go quite as deep into the tedious just to mimic real life as it did in the trailer, and I kinda doubt it ever will, but it's just a cool attention to detail that I wanted to bring up. Another major aspect is co-op, but not in the sense of survival team co-op as much as dungeoning co-op. And one thing that's sorely missed in No Man's Sky to this day is actual team boss fights, or any boss fights for that matter. Now, I'm not saying that this 100% confirms it, but from the gameplay footage so far, it does seem to hint towards fighting some big entities and other dangerous monsters. That's actually a possibility for Light No Fire. So this seems a lot more involved than No Man's Sky ever was from that aspect. And going back to that planetary scale, one thing that pops up in my mind every now and then is just how ridiculous that mountain in the background is, especially during the dragon flight scene. There's a split second we get to see just how far up it goes, and let me tell you, that one actually makes even the tallest mountain in No Man's Sky almost look like a regular sized rock compared to it. So every mountain can be climbed, and below them lie endless vistas, oceans, and continents perhaps no others have seen. Who will climb the tallest mountain? Who will find the deepest sea? Set sail across vast oceans and rivers, ride wild beasts through fantastical landscapes, fly dragons over undiscovered landscapes. So yes, it definitely seems interesting compared to No Man's Sky at the very least. Conceptually, it's so far away, but there's also quite a lot of similarities, but ambition-wise, it definitely seems to go quite a few levels higher. By all metrics, this will play and feel bigger than No Man's Sky in my opinion, while at the same time feeling more condensed, if that makes any sense. Personally, I'm looking forward to having every player out there on the same planet and just stumble upon random people without actually needing to go out into space. Anyway, that's pretty much it for now. Let me know down below what you think about it. In the meantime, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. It's also quite clear that this isn't just a one-off project. It's actually something that they want to support, similarly to how they did with No Man's Sky. So at least 10 years of support is what Hello Games is aiming with this one.